and it was spinning. It was a golden object spinning at an enormous rate. It appeared over the desert, over an area where we had a craft land in '96. It was about 200 or 300 feet in diameter, shaped like a Hershey's Kissie. And this object appeared right over that. A couple years ago, we were there, and a craft about 15 feet above us materialized for about 10 seconds, and then you can see how fast this thing's spinning at 1/5 speed. And what was interesting is that the craft that came overhead a couple years ago, it was nothing, and then it materialized, and it moved about 30 feet over the group, about 15 feet above us, and 30 feet in direction, and then dematerialized in thin air. And the sound it made, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, with wow, 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 wow. It's the weirdest sound I ever heard. And have y'all heard this before? If you've had contact? And I literally, if I had gotten up on my chair and jumped up, I could have touched the underside of this thing. That's how close an encounter that was. It was awesome. We were in the middle of a deep meditation for the prayer and healing of the earth. I want to go to, because we're going to run out, let's go to Mount Shasta. That happened recently, just this past fall. We'll do some recent stuff here. We have a site on Mount Shasta. We're going to go there at the end of August. If you guys want to join us for a week. We're also going to be in Joshua Tree for a week in November. And we had an object that came in, and when I would signal to it with the laser, it would flare up, and it was this silent. It was way cool. We had like several hundred of these that week, and very, very bright objects. This is Mount Shasta, and look at this. Look at these that came right on the site. This is between us and a tree about 50 feet away, a triangle-shaped craft, and it was there. I saw it come in. Watch it over here. Another one. Now you're saying, God, these are really weird things. I said, yes, well, the real interstellar ones, most of the time they're dematerialized and they'll come in a flash. And blue or clear. Now what's interesting is the one that comes into the tree here, we've actually had them on site where they've stayed like that for a prolonged period, but they'll appear and then dematerialize, and our radar detectors will go off, we'll have magnetometers going off, and then they'll just periodically appear. That was this side of that tree, 50 feet from our circle. This is what we're going to be doing Saturday night. God only knows what will happen. On the backside of NORAD. We do it everywhere. Say, come and get them. Wherever we are. Way cool. Look at how close that one was. Brilliant. I mean, these things are brilliant blue-white objects. Let's go to this. I want to show you something on the Outer Banks. Go to 14. These others we'll go through on Saturday. They're all really cool. This we had contact last month, I guess it was in May, and we were out and we've been doing this meditation, and this appeared over the ocean. This was, anyone remember Tim Edwards' craft that was filmed over here near Salida? Should be Salida, but they say Salida. Same thing. And then we did an inverse. It was very, very close. This had come up out of the ocean, and one day we were walking along the beach before the afternoon session, and something that looked like Catalina Island rose up out of the ocean and was there for, I didn't have a camera, I wasn't going for it, I don't have cameras, and it was there. It was this amazing thing. Now I want to show this, but before you start it, let me give you a little introduction. Pause that for me. We were out the first night at the Outer Banks, and there was a flotilla that came in from deep space that were about 40 or 50 brilliant, scintillating craft we filmed. And we were all looking in the northwest, northeast sector of the sky. And these were so many of them, it was unbelievable. And we had the night scope on and everything. Absolutely, we're not satellites or jets or anything like that. And we said, what is going on? And it was this huge flotilla of BT vehicles that came in from deep space. Then just as I was talking to people about the craft being in the ocean and that they'd be emerging from the ocean, as they read my mind, which they do, this thing came shooting in behind us. Unfortunately, the camera was filming the other thing, and it was about 3 inches at arm's length. Now you hold your arm out, look at 3 inches, that's big. And it came streaking in. It was this very large craft. About a third of the group was looking in that direction when I was pointing in that direction at the time. It went into the ocean, and then there was this weird amorphous scintillating ship that was almost like an etheric astral energy force that lifted out of the ocean, came up on the beach, and settled in 90 feet from us. We marched it off. And then over the next 1 hour, there was a lit object that over 100 times hovering on the beach, 90 feet from 40 people, 25 of them had never been out to do this stuff, was there signaling to us 90 feet from us. And we got about 110 of these signals filmed, so you can run that now.
Yeah, sometimes a boat that's way out there might look like that.
This is the ocean.
Worth noting, because, it's hard to...
There's a ship out here. This is the sky, of course. And this is on the beach, right there. This is seen with the naked eye.
It just signaled, right, that this...
Now, all this fluxing around this is a dematerialized craft, and there was they kept signaling to me here, and then I walked into it, and the people looking at me as I walked into where this light was, like I dematerialized, they could see through me.
They're all right there.
90 feet from the circle, because we were very close to the ocean, on the sand dunes at the Outer Banks. And when this happened, what this said to me,
Holding the protection.
Christ. This was, and there are two of them. There are actually a couple of them right there. Now, there are no fireflies or nothing. This is, this was a light that would come on and off, but in the center of this huge fluxing field that was around us that you can see.
Protection, meaning that the human cabal that has been targeting these things are being held off. So this can be here.
That's what the flotilla was for. They were holding all these Star Wars weapons while this happened.
Did you see it? It's doing it every 3 or 4 seconds. That is.
There were 3 of them. There's 3 right in there.
On a boat out there. That's right here.
And we filmed them for over an hour.
That one had a golden amber color. One I saw was sort of teal blue, right?
It wasn't until the next day we had marched off and saw how many feet it was away. It was only 90 feet from us.
There it is again. Did you see it?
There's no person with a slide. This is a 4th generation night scope. Now, while this is going on, there are these 40 or so craft up in the stars holding off the Star Wars weapons and neutralizing them. So that's what we do. Y'all can come if you want to come. It's really cool stuff. One of the things that when this happened, and this is sort of,
So when you're seeing with your inner sight,
we're not going to look at this for an hour. We were remote viewing. You can go ahead and pause that. This goes on for an hour. Of course, there are 40 people on the beach. I have the lights back up a little. And what we found during this episode, and the message, the meta message for you, put the lights out in the audience too a little bit. So that's too bright. There, and put the lights out in the crowd. What I found was that, now I'm going to have to be very careful what I say next for a change. The week before we went to go there, we had just put on a plane in D.C., a high-level delegation, official delegation, from a G7 country whose president and whose leadership are asking CSETI to do this officially for their country so that they can meet these visitors and end the cabal's lock on secrecy. This is actively being negotiated. Now, I have a little bit of trepidation about it because we've had some pretty amazing things happen for long periods of time up on Blanca Peak. We're going down to Colorado, down in Colorado Sunday for a week. We're going to be up on Blanca Peak and up there in that area. And which I think there's room for a few more people if you have that week off and want to come. What's interesting